What's going on, guys? Shanji here, and today I want to discuss the Destiny 2 nightmare of 600 RPM auto rifles. I will admit, I was very ecstatic in the beginning when 600 RPM auto rifles were going to get the love they deserved. I'm a massive auto rifle fan, I've been since Destiny 1, but this shit's ridiculous. I will admit, I maybe wished for too much, and Bungie delivered on too much, and it's absolutely insane. And we're going to break it down into details following up. But yeah, if you guys have played Destiny 2, you guys know that the auto rifle meta is definitely a thing. It's saying it's a thing is putting it very, very lightly. But it's just saying it's a thing. You go into Crucible, you see a bunch of auto rifles going around. If they had an auto rifle in their hand, they were certainly trying in PvP. They're trying to impress Lord Shaxx. They're trying to make him proud for whatever reason. I mean, making Lord Shaxx proud is a very good thing. But again, 600 RPM auto rifles are the sign of ultimate sweat, ultimate tryhard, and Bungie needs to step in and do something about it. It's getting ridiculous. It's getting absurd. And I think the sandbox in general is, I think you can argue, maybe the worst it's been in a while. Now, for me to make that statement is kind of a reach because, again, I haven't played through most of the sandbox meta. I recently hopped in with Shadowkeep, and specifically mainly with Season of the Worthy, this season currently, and obviously the future of Destiny. I've really got back into this game heavily. I'm loving every bit of this game. But again, for me personally so far, playing this game, it's the worst it's possibly been. There's no reason to use any other weapon. Maybe pulse rifles are pretty powerful, but again, auto rifles are just the king of it all. 600 RPM auto rifles just destroy every other weapon class, every other category, and it's not a good thing for any sandbox. Now, a true perfect sandbox, again, perfect, will be every weapon class except the fusion rifles. They can go literally fuck themselves. I hate fusion rifles, despise fusion rifles. Telesto is still pissing me off, even though it's the only good fusion rifle on PC. That's the only good thing about PC so far. Fusion rifles fucking suck. Except Telesto, they're it's pretty good. But yeah, besides fusion rifles, leave them in the dirt, leave them in hell, leave them to die. Every other weapon class needs to be somewhat reworked to compete with auto rifles if Bungie doesn't want to tweak anything with them. Now, I do think the true fix is tweaking them. I know Bungie stated that they don't want to touch current weapons because it's just a back and forth, and it's currently they don't want to keep on reducing, and I get it. Weapon balance is definitely a hard change. But if we look at other franchises like Battlefield, Call of Duty, recently Modern Warfare and Warzone, and even Apex Legends, we see that the development team does a much better job of balancing their weapons in general. They have analytics. They see people using the rate of the weapon a certain time. They see the percentages. Basically, they used analytics to guide their decisions. And while, again, these issues shouldn't persist in general, I know Apex Legends with Respawn Entertainment, they do a great job of just balancing the game in general. They make tweaks to the game nobody asked for, but they see that analytically it needs to be done, and they take the steps. Call of Duty with the M4A1 and 725, the community was really annoyed by it because the M4A1 and 725 in the beginning, early stages of multiplayer were literally the only guns you can use to have a competitive advantage in general. If you weren't using those weapons in general, you were playing at a massive disadvantage, and that's never good. So they changed it, and recently in Warzone, the growl meta was pretty much rampant. It was the most dominant weapon in the game. There was great recoil, great rate of fire, great damage range, etc. It was just a perfect weapon for Warzone. Everybody was using it, and if you weren't using it, you're playing at a disadvantage. They nerfed it to a bit where people aren't using it as much, which I think is great. And with Battlefield 4, high rate of fire weapons in Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 were just rampant, and they always came in and tweaked them a little bit, to make them a little bit more balanced than before. But with Bungie, their design efforts just seems to be just nerf into oblivion, nerf until it's just not a problem, and then we'll worry about the next gun coming in place, and that's not healthy at all. Now, I do think auto rifles are in a good position. I think they should be useful in PvE and PvP, but we gotta admit, 600 RPM auto rifles just dominate in general. They have great range, they have great damage output per range, they have a great rate of fire, they have great magazine size, they have great perks on most of their weapons to tag along. Gnawing Hunger has, a great kill clip Zen moment roll I have on it with accurized rounds, and I forget the other thing I had on it, but it was literally a perfect roll. Literally, it's a god roll. Annotation on screen, details of why I think it's the best weapon in PvP. But yeah, and then seeing this gameplay, the Suros regime, literally unsurprisingly to me, is just ridiculous. The longer you hold the rate of fire, and especially on PC with recoil control, the higher the rate of fire goes, but you're still keeping the attributes and the statistics of a 600 RPM auto rifle. It's insane. It's literally, in my opinion, probably the best honestly the best exotic auto rifle in the game. And it's honestly, I've learned throughout making this footage for this video that it's definitely the best PvP auto rifle in general. And stuff like this just breaks the game. It makes it unfun, unbearable. And you know, it could be worse. It could definitely be worse. But again, we need submachine guns being good at close range. We need hand cannons being a little bit more better with range output, specifically 140s and 110s. Like, just make them better at range. And just, there's certain things with certain classes and certain archetypes and RPM weapons that just don't make no sense in Bungie's eyes. Like, 110 auto hand cannons are 3 shots, and there's still a 3-shot 140s and 150s. So why the hell would you want to use a 110? Like, honestly, honest to God, like, maybe 110 should have absurd range. Like, maybe that's a great thing to do. I don't know. Do something, guys. But yeah, I don't know. I think with 600 RPM, they need to definitely not really nerf it to oblivion, while making some minor tweaks to other weapon classes like hand cannons, pulse rifles, even though they're really powerful, some machine guns, other classes. Just make minor tweaks and buffs to maybe take a little bit back from 600 RPM auto rifles. Maybe reduce their range a little bit. Maybe reduce their, increase the recoil a little bit. Magazine size. Maybe what perks they roll with. Maybe just, reduce the damage a little bit. Make it an extra shot. Maybe even 2 extra shots to kill them. Do something. Because we gotta admit, it's just fucking ridiculous. I'm new to PC, right? Even though I've had a lot of experience recently with mouse and keyboard, I'm not like a crazy PC guy. I'm getting into it. I'm setting up all my recording stuff. But yeah, it was easy. It was so easy. I'm just like, yo, this is ridiculous. I should be having at least some troubles, but I'm not. I'm doing really, really good. But in general, we have to wait and see what Bungie's going to do. Beyond Light, if they wait till Beyond Light, it's absurdly far away. I think if they wait that long, it's going to be bad news for the PvP community specifically. Because again, I don't know how much people can take of the 600 RPM auto rifle meta. Bungie seriously needs to step in and at least change something. This can't persist any longer. It's infuriating, People go on trials, if they're not using auto rifles, they're mountaintop and auto rifles, they're not really trying, and it's flat out simple. Me personally, I'm really enjoying Destiny in general, so I will keep playing this game because I want to get used to PC and stuff like that. But for the experienced player, it's a nightmare. Why would you play? It's hard to play with the PvP meta right now in the sandbox. And again, reiterating what I've been saying this whole time, just do some minor tweaks to the stats in general. It's just perfect overall. The weapon balance in Bungie just seems to really favor a certain archetype, an RPM maybe. Just a certain reason why this weapon just gets the greatest values of them all. 720 auto rifles are really good, but they're not better than 600 RPM rifles. 340s are really interesting, but they're not better than 600. Like, it makes no sense. And I think different archetypes should definitely be, have their perks and balances and reason why you should use them. And I hope Bungie definitely caters more to this ideology of balancing their weapons. Make me want to use every single gun in the game for a specific reason. Don't make me flat out decide that if I want to win in trials that I need to use a Gnawing Hunger, a Suros, a Summoner, any other 600 RPM auto rifles tagging along with a Mountaintop, a Revolker, or even like a sword for, sword peeking. It's rough. It's rough. But I hope that Bungie's going to come in and fix it. Maybe. Hopefully. Again, Bungie, this is Bungie we're talking about. They do things on their own terms, which is fine, but guys, we need help. It's a nightmare. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. Videos like this are going to kind of suffice for this week. I have an audio issue of recording in terms of PC, so if you see PC gameplay, it's going to be a video like this for now. Still setting up my audio setup and everything, making everything work on a dual PC setup. But again, that's not relevant to this video. Just want to give a heads up. So if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely like this video, be greatly appreciated, and subscribe for more Destiny 2 content like this, as well as gameplay in the future and other things and weapon reviews. But yeah, that's all I gotta say on this one. Hope you guys have a good one. Bungie here, and I'm out.